Good evening, New Sarum, and welcome back. Tonight we find Katerina in her apartment downtown, thinking about Aaron. She misses him, and she thinks that she'd like to do something nice for him. She wants to get him a gift or give him a gift, but she doesn't want to go out and buy something. She wants it to be more personal than that. And a thought crosses her mind. He'd probably appreciate that. As she scrolls through her phone thinking that she has a picture, and she gets to the pictures and starts looking through them, and she can't find what she's looking for. And she's thinking, how do I not have a picture of her? That's so weird. I take pictures of everyone. And the person she's looking for is Astarte. And she spent a lot of time with her. She thought for sure that she had a picture of her, but she can't seem to find one. And, well, I don't know anyone else that might have a picture of her. I'm not going to ask Aaron. I wanted to print one out, have one printed out, and frame it and give it to him, but maybe I can draw her. I think I still have my sketch pad. She gets up from the couch and goes over to her closet and gets a box down. She rummages through it, hoping to find her sketch pad and maybe a couple of pencils. And she searches and searches, and she finally finds her sketch pad. And underneath it are a couple of pencils. They're a little bit worn down, but there's enough left out of them that she could complete this portrait. She looks through it, and she finds pictures of butterflies that she drew for art class in high school, and also drawing on her own using the skills that she learned in her art classes in high school. And she remembers that she also took another art class through the library back when she was still kind, to learn how to draw portraits. And she looks at her horrible attempt at a self-portrait and kind of chuckles. And hopefully I don't do that bad on this drawing of Astarte. And she keeps looking through it, and she comes across a portrait of Serena. It's not quite as bad as the self-portrait, but it's still not very good. And she looks at it for a moment, and then she keeps going. And she finally finds a couple of blank pages in the back of the sketch pad. And she flips to it, and she goes and sits down at the kitchen table. And she sits, and I'm going to roll intelligence, difficulty 6 to recall. She sits and closes her eyes and remembers Astarte's face, all of her little features, the way her cheekbones were, the smile on her face when she was happy about something, the way that her hair laid across her face and her shoulders, those glowing, beautiful, glowing blue eyes, and her sunglasses that she wore over them. She thinks, I'm not going to draw her with the sunglasses, but I'm not going to draw her with the glowing eyes either. She looks down at the sketch pad and thinks for a moment before beginning to draw. Dex Craft, difficulty 7, because she doesn't have craft. All right. She begins to draw Astarte's face as she remembers it. she draws the outline, all the lines that she was taught to draw, the points. And she draws the outline, she draws the nose, she draws her ears, she draws her hair in the way that it lays across her face. And she draws her mouth and that smile that Katerina loved, and she's sure that Aaron loved it too. And then she gets to her eyes, and she knows she's never seen a picture of Astarte without the glowing eyes, but she can kind of imagine what they looked like if they were the same vibrant blue of the glow. But she's not even drawing in color anyway, she's just shading. So she's going to draw Astarte without the glowing eyes and just draw her normally. And she draws the outline of the eyes and the eyelashes, and she tries to reflect the brightness without the being an ambient glow, just trying to make her look as happy as she could. And she also draws her eyebrows, making sure not to forget the little details like that. And any lines around her mouth, any dimples or freckles that she may have had, things like that. And when she finishes, she looks down at it and she smiles. And she says, "It's really nice to see you again, Astarte. I'm actually quite proud of myself on how this turned out. It actually really looks like her. It's not perfect, but I think it's good enough. I hope Aaron will appreciate it." She signs her name at the bottom of the portrait. And she tears it out of the sketch pad. And she goes back to the box in her closet, and she finds a picture, as an old picture of her and her parents, that she takes out of the picture frame and puts the picture back in the box and takes the frame. And it's a little bit small for the picture, for the portrait, but luckily she didn't cover the entire page, so she's able to fold it in. She's able to fold the page in a little bit to make it fit into the frame, and puts the back on and holds it out and looks at it. It's not too bad. I hope he loves it. I know he loves her. And I miss her too. And she smiles and thinks about Aaron, how much she loves him. But she doesn't hold any jealousy or resentment or anything like that for Astarte, because she knows, she's seen it, the love that they have for each other. And when she comes back, if she comes back and he wants her, she'll step aside. She has no issues with that. It'll hurt. Yeah, she's not going to deny that. It'll hurt. But all she wants for Aaron is to be happy. She puts the portrait down and she thinks about the opening of the shimmering star coming up tomorrow. She's hoping that it'll be sold out. It's being promoted like crazy. And it pleases her to know that that contact of Yvette's came through for her, and she's heard it on the radio, she's seen it on the news, the word about the opening's out. And she's happy with the talent that she was able to secure for the opening. And Katie is so far doing a really wonderful job, which she knew she would, and being very flexible with times. And of course, she keeps reassuring Katerina that she's used to this, concert halls, they have crazy hours, and she's used to working them, and it's not a big deal. And Katerina still can't help but worry and, think that she's already overworking her, even though she's only been on the job about 3 days. And she thinks about everybody that might be there, and she realizes, I'd really love for Lisa to be there. She's been with me through so much. I really would like her to be there. So she takes her phone and sends her a message that says, I'm opening a concert hall tomorrow night in Uptown, and the opening's at 10. I would really love it if you could come. If it's sold out, don't worry. I'll make sure you're on the list. And she sends that off to her. And then she also thinks that she'd actually like Drago to be there as well, because if for nothing else, to hear what she has to say, the announcement that she's going to make, he needs to be there to hear that. So she also sends him a text message saying that the Shimmering Star, the concert hall I told you about, is opening tomorrow night at 10 p.m. and you really should be there. I would really like for you to be there. It will be quite an event. And she sends that off. She hopes that Aaron is going to be there. She still hasn't heard from him. But she hopes that wherever he is, whatever he's doing, that he comes back soon, and she'd really like for him to be at the opening if he can. Hopefully maybe Cecilia got word to him or something. I mean, she has been sending him messages, but she hasn't heard from him, so hopefully he'll be there. I won't give him the portrait there. I'll give it to him later. It's something I want done in private. And she will sit and stare at the portrait of Astarte for a little while as she ponders everything and thinks about the things to come and possible consequences. But for her, it's worth it.